Greetings, dear viewers. I'm Quill Quickcard, and welcome back to Radical Dreamers, where we're going to start by heading back toward the terrace. After a short walk down the corridor, the terrace came into view. We are going to keep following it. A short way along the corridor, running from the right-hand side of the terrace, we found an ancient-looking door, again on our right. Kid pressed an ear against it, listening for any signs of life. Dead quiet. Don't reckon there's anybody in there. Okay, well, we're just going to keep going. Yeah, better see what's at the end of this corridor first. Kid left the door alone and continued on down the corridor. We returned to creeping down the darkened hallways as silently as we could. Continuing on down the corridor, we came across a rather sturdy-looking door to our left. A little further on stood a stairway leading upward. Well, this door's clearly meant to keep something safe. If there ain't some kind of treasure behind it, me name ain't Kid. Yep, that's the smell of cold hard cash, all right, she muttered to herself as she began to inspect the door more closely. Yep, let's head in. Bah! What am I, stupid? Of course it's bloody locked. Kid had tried the door handle a few times before giving it a grumpy kick. Bloody door's got a magic barrier on it. A bloody barrier's got a barrier of its own to boot. It'll take more than me putting the boot in it to get through all that. I see. Then unless we find the key, we don't have a hope of getting inside. Reckon I can handle the key hunt, especially if it's that idiot Lynx who's hidden it. If we can find his room, I'll sniff it out in 2 seconds flat. Just you watch. There was little more we could do here, so we decided to look elsewhere. So, next thing we are going to do is continue on. Whoop. The corridor ended at the foot of some stairs. With Kid in the lead, we headed upwards. It was dark, and the stairwell was narrow. We watched our footing carefully as we climbed. The stone of the steps was worn and smooth with age, and I lost count of how many there were as we spiraled onward and upward. An awful sense of foreboding haunted me. I had no idea why, but it felt as though we were marching to the gallows. When we arrived at the top of the stairs, we were greeted by an old, heavy door looming in the silence. All was deathly silent, and still, clammy air added to the sense of ominous apprehension. Something's very wrong here, I muttered without thinking. I hear cursed whispers from beyond the door, Majel added, doing nothing to lift the mood. Grow up, will you? Kid shot back at us derisively. She was already examining the door. Well, it ain't locked and I don't hear anyone inside. All right, sure, why not? All right, here goes. Kid tried the handle. The door opened, and with a slow, heavy swing, revealed what lay beyond. It was a small cylindrical room that appeared to be inside of one of the stone towers. It was completely deserted, and there were no windows. What's this supposed to be? Something about this place gives me the creeps. Still standing in the doorway, Kid seemed suddenly taken aback. There might be something in here. Let's take a closer look. A closer look at I think that's Majel. There might be something in here. Let's take a closer look. Closer look at a bloody empty room? Might as well, I guess. We did climb all them stairs. Kid stepped through the door, grumbling under her breath. I scanned the room and then noticed something on the floor. The flagstones were covered in dozens of narrow scratches, and in places there were thick black stains. Something in the stains spoke of a horror that no amount of scrubbing would ever wash away. A malice. Let's get my cursor off the screen. A malice and a sadness beyond imagining. There's something written here. Crouching in front of a wall, Majel was inspecting some brownish markings that looked like more of the same stains. Someone's carved letters into the wall and scrambled 'em using blood magic. Kid had gone over to take a look. That's probably Kid talking. Looks pretty old. Hard to read, too. Some of it's been worn away. Let's see. I cannot hold out much longer. My only hope now is to leave the Acacian signet in this room. The Acacian signet? Suddenly the door slammed shut. We jumped to our feet with a start. From above us, we heard an unsettling creaking sound. The walls and floor began to tremble. What the hell's going on? Kid's eyes darted around the room as she desperately tried to figure out what was happening. The creaking sound from above continued, and the ceiling moved ominously closer. Up there! Oh crap. Okay, that looks like a problem. We've walked right into a bloody trap! Kid bit her lip. We gotta do something fast. We don't have time to sit and think about that. We barged the door down. Yo! Kid sprang at the door like an arrow, slamming into its shoulder first. But it was far too heavy, and her light frame bounced right off. Damn it! Major raced toward the door like the wind, smashing into it with ferocious force. It made a creaking sound and shook from the impact, but stood firm. Desperately, I heard myself at it too. The shock of the impact rushed through my body, but it was no good. Meanwhile, the rusty creaking from above continued, as did the ceiling's inexorable journey downward. And to make matters worse, now countless blades were popping in and out. Surge! Surge! Major! This is gonna take the three of us! Timing our blows, we all charged the door at once. Once, twice, a third time. And then the door was open, and we were collapsed in a heap in the corridor outside. What? Behind us, we heard the sound of the bladed ceiling grinding on the stone floor of the tower room. The metallic scraping noise it made was awful. We could only look on in silent horror at the fate we'd so narrowly evaded. The machinery continued for a short while, before slowly coming to a stop. It seemed the ceiling trap had finally finished its grisly work. Bugger me! Talk about a nasty surprise! Is this some sort of execution chamber? Majel continued, seeming to be deep in thought. In any case, that writing mentioned Acacia. Yeah, what was all that about? Oh, sorry, Surge talking. Yeah, what was all that about, I asked. The Acacia Dragoons, the elite knightly order serving General Viper, who once governed the territory of Galesburg to the west. Former knightly order, I should say. They were wiped out more than a decade ago, by the lord of this very manor, no less. Thanks for the history legend, Madge. Kid rose to her feet, patting off the dust. Too bad we're not here for fairy tale nights. Come on, we got a lot more exploring left to do. Majel shrugged silently, and we headed back to the stairs. With Kid in the lead, we headed downstairs. We went down the stairs and continued straight ahead, eventually coming across a sturdy-looking door on our right. Alright, so we're back at the treasure And we're actually going to go back to the room we just went to. So we've already read that. Yep. Sturdy looking door. We're going inside. You still want to go in there, Serge? Hey, feel free, but I ain't in the mood to get squashed flat and ground out in gristle, said Kid derisively. And then she took a careful look around and leaned in close. Hey, don't tell me that torture stuff isn't your thing, is it? I sighed and slumped my shoulders. Oh. Okay. I thought I was supposed to go back in order to get the Acacian signet? Okay, I can only assume that it wasn't there because I started by heading to the study. So we're going to continue on past that, which goes to the terrace. So we're going to continue on from the terrace. That's going to take us back toward... Yeah, we're going to arrive at the intersection with the stairs. And I think from here, I just continue on straight. We continued onward, past where the stairs and the side passage emerged into the main corridor. We found ourselves in front of some ornate double doors. We're going to go inside. Kid gently pushed the heavy doors open and peeked inside. Don't look like anyone's in here. It seemed to be the main hall of the manor. There was a massive table, beautiful decorations on the walls, and thick columns decorated with sculptures of birds and beasts. Fixed to the wall in the back towered a tremendous pipe organ, like a burnished black mountain. Dozens of candles provided a dim, flickering light, sending the corners of the room dancing in light and shadow. Several enormous portraits glowered down from high on the wall. Were these members of Lynx's family? I was busy staring at a painting depicting a young husband and wife when I realized that their eyes had turned to look right at me. Okay, they hadn't. Don't worry, this isn't about to turn into some dumb ghost story. It just looked that way because of the flickering light of the candles reflected against the glossy oil paints. Obviously. Probably. This place gives me the creeps. And get a load of all those ugly mugs. There's nothing for us here. Let's look somewhere else. Neither Majel nor I had any objections. We left the hall and returned to the corridor. Alright, so now we are heading to the stairs. Let's go down the stairs. Slowly, we crept down the staircase, descending deeper into blackness as we went. At the bottom, the path split. The way to the left continued on to an atrium that resembled a sort of plaza, while the path to the right was a winding passageway that trailed off into the darkness. We are going to go right. We went down the stairs, then took the passage to our right. Eventually, we came across an ornate door on the right-hand side. Boy, they sure like these doors. Something smelled fresh and pleasant. Flowers? Was it coming from inside? Okay, let's go in. We found ourselves in a tidy, welcoming room. The knickknacks and curios dotted around the place seemed to be well loved. The stately desk and the cozy-looking bed nearby, meanwhile, suggested the room's occupant was no stranger to luxury. Though the room was richly furnished, somehow it still felt awfully lonely. Kid took a quick look around before commenting, "It's nice as girls' room." A half-written letter on the desk and a teacup, still warm, suggested that the lady of the manor was still nearby. But it didn't seem that anyone was here now. We decided to search the room. Some charming flowers, a discarded cotton handkerchief, a small bottle of perfume. Nothing that meant much to me or anything that seemed particularly valuable. Kid seemed to have the same impression and scanned the room, clearly not expecting to find anything. The only item of note was a small antique box, which bore a crest resembling a viper. I decided where to look next. I am going to check out the box. I picked up the small wooden box on the bookshelf. I gently opened the lid and was greeted by a soothing melody. A music box. There was something about that song. I know. I'll know this tune. Kid was standing next to me, and I could see something had changed in her expression. You do, huh, Kid? Someone used to sing it to me a long time ago. She turned her gaze downward and went silent. Kid? Startled, she turned to me. Her eyelashes glistened as if wet with dew. She walked to the door, not saying a word. Hey, Kid, wait up! We left the room. Was she crying? Was Kid crying? Maybe I was just seeing things. The passage outside the room continued to our left and right. The path to the right led deeper into the darkness of the manor. Meanwhile, going left would take us to the atrium. We are going to continue on the passage to the right. We went down the dark passageway, eventually finding ourselves at a sturdy-looking, immaculately polished door. Kid sniffed at the air. Just as I thought, something stinks here. I reckon we found the beast's lair, lads. In the darkness, Kid's lips twisted into a grin that turned my blood cold. Let's go in. Kid opened the door and slipped inside. It was Lynx's room, but he didn't seem to be around. Hey, Bugger's gone and scuppered because he heard I was coming. There was something deeply unpleasant about this room. There wasn't anything unusual about the furniture and fittings, not how they looked or how they were made, but taken as a whole, it all felt discordant. Was this a reflection of Lynx? A seemingly ordinary facade that hid a disturbing truth only some could see. Right, I bet we'll find the key to the vault in here, or a clue about where to find it. I started searching through the room. The desk drawers, the paintings on the wall, the vase on top of the side table. I left no stone unturned. There didn't seem to be anything suspicious. But as I scanned the room, something unusual caught my eye. There was a pedestal in one corner with a significant-looking scarlet cloth drawn over it. I slowly raised my hand toward it. I carefully pulled the cloth away, revealing a mirror. It was old-fashioned and of an elaborately decorated style I'd seen before, and in it was reflected a statue of Venus. Suddenly the eyes of the statue shone with light. Oh God, it's looking at me. Hi. What is it? What is your desire? The mirror, it's speaking! Kid and Majel ran to my side. There's no need for panic. It's a whispering mirror, nothing more, said Majel flatly. What's one of those? A magical mirror in which a spirit dwells. The spirit can freely move between its own and other mirrors, and will share its wisdom with those who ask. Interesting. What should I ask it? Well, I could ask it where the key is, or I could ask it where Link is, or I could ask it for Kid's measurements. Let's just ask where the key to the vault is. Do you know where the key to the vault is? The mirror's reflection rippled and changed to reveal a room with numerous bookshelves. A deep, sonorous voice spoke. You will find the key in the place I have revealed, the study. It is inside a book with a purple cover in the furthest bookshelf from the door. Well, that's convenient. The image of the study vanished from the mirror, and the voice went silent. It appears the spirit has left for another mirror, commented Magil. To the study, then. As I made to leave, a low voice rumbled through the air, stopping me dead in my tracks. Beware. He knows. Was it the voice of the mirror again? What did it mean? Hurry up! Hurry up! We're leaving you behind, Sedge! Called Kid from outside. Flustered, I rushed after her. The corridor stretched out beyond the door. We retraced our steps. We came across an ornate door to... Okay, so... I think there's actually another scene we can get going back into Lynx's room. I think there's another scene we can get with the mirror. I knew he wouldn't be here. We started looking for any signs of the key to the vault. Maybe she can help, said Kid, thrusting her chin toward the mirror. I gently pulled the soft cloth from the mirror and stared into the glass. Oh, I thought I told you all to piss off. It was dark, like the surface of a lake at night. What is your desire? Can you tell me where Lynx is? Where the hell is Lynx? Kid asked, her eyes narrowing suspiciously. The surface of the mirror rippled with a gentle eddy. Slowly, letters began to take form. What's this say? I humbly request that you go and find him yourself. That's cute. You ever wonder what it's like to be shattered? Spat Kid, glaring at the mirror. It said nothing in response, as if pretending it couldn't hear her. The spirit of the mirror appears to have moved on. Speak if you wish, but it will not hear you, muttered Magil. Fine then, let's go somewhere else. With that, we left Lynx's room. Okay. So now we need to head back to the study. So we got to Riddle's room. We are going to continue on our way. And then the stairs go back up to the study, right? Yes, we're going to go down the side passage toward the study. And in we go. Right, let's find this key. Light on our feet as always. Kid moved into the center of the room. Where'd that miss say it was again, Sarge? She was asking me. How was I supposed to remember? It's in the book with the purple cover in the bookshelf at the farthest end of the room. Oh, that's a lot of choices. But it's in the book with the purple cover in the far bookcase. I think it was supposed to be one with a purple cover in the furthest bookcase. You know, right, let's see. Seeming to take my word for it, Kid made for the case in question. Right, this one. Purple cover, purple cover. Aha! This has got to be it. Kid pulled a book from the bottom shelf. Majel and I watched as she opened it. The pages were hollowed out, and hidden inside was an old key decorated with strange symbols. Nailed it! Nice one, Sage! Kid snatched the key from inside of the book. Right, time to finally get a look at this treasure. Having got what we came for, we left the study. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, so now we want to head back toward the terrace because the treasure vault was on the other side from the terrace hallway. Alright, continue on. Yes, this one. Okay. Okay, so we're going to drop a save. Time to go inside. This should do it. Kid slipped the key we'd found into the lock. Lines of magical light flashed across the surface of the door and vanished, as various magical barriers would be dispelled. Up, down, left, right, blue, red, green, every color under the sun. And then all was quiet, and the darkness of the manor returned. Right, we're in! With a creak, the heavy door gently swung open. As soon as I saw what was inside, I gave a gasp. Kid stepped inside. Whoa, we hit the mother lode! Ooh. Out of the darkness loomed a veritable mountain of gold, silver, priceless works of art, and exquisite trinkets. Kid looked as if she were on the verge of drooling at the sight of it all. But what thief wouldn't have been? After all, this was the kind of hoard that few people would ever come across in their lifetime. The smallest fraction of this vast amount of riches would have seen even the most careless spendthrift set for life. Our goal is the frozen flame. Ignore the rest. Majel spoke with an icy dedication to our mission. He had not even batted an eyelid at the sight that greeted us. Yeah, I'll know. She was disappointed, of course, but she soon set about scanning the room for the object of our hunt. Wait, is that it? Look, on the pedestal over there. I turned to see what Kid was pointing at. There it was. A small, yet perfectly formed jewel that gave off a pale red light. A jewel that looked like a flickering fire suspended in time. The frozen flame. Silently, Majel walked toward the pedestal. I called out. Hurry. Quickly, Mage, I whispered. Kid urged him on too. There's no time to waste. We gotten at it now and then find links. If you insist. Majel gently raised a hand toward the frozen flame. Suddenly a siren rang out. The room was flooded with light, and metal bars slammed down in front of the door. Metallic parrots in the four corners of the room suddenly came to life, flapping their wings and screeching, "Rat! Thieves! Thieves!" Damn it! We'd walked right into a trap. Kid quickly turned to me. Said, your bloody fault for telling him to hurry up. What the? So did you. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's all my fault. It's my fault we walked right into a trap. It's my fault everything's out to get us dying. And it's my fault I damn near got mangled to death by wildcats on the way here. Too bloody right it is. Glad you're finally taking some responsibility. Ah! She's a damned witch, this girl. Would it kill her to be nice to me for a change? Oi! Don't give me that look. I know exactly what you're thinking. She pointed an accusing finger at me. Sorry if I ain't the sweet little princess you want me to be, Serge. Enough. Enough. Lynx's men will be here at any moment, hissed Major. He'd barely finished speaking when I heard voices in the distance. Which way? Which way? The parrots! The parrots! The vault! The vault! The manor guards were coming. Kid dived behind a pile of gold coins. Find somewhere to hide! In a panic, I looked around the room. There was a large chest sitting wide open next to a pillar. I rushed to empty it out, then plunged head first and closed the lid. Captain! Captain, there's no sign of anyone in there. No sign. Strange. Peculiar. No one has ever escaped before. None have ever fled the mousetrap's clutches. None. I gently pushed up the lid of the chest and peeked through the gap. There were 5 goblins wearing suits of armor, unlocking the gate and about to make their way inside. One of the goblins looked around the room, jerking his neck as he peered into the shadows. Captain, what if it actually was a mouse this time? Chef was grumbling about mouses the other day, Captain. A mouse? A rodent? A rat? Would a teeny tiny thing like that really have sprung the trap? Replied a stocky, plump-looking goblin who must have been the captain. He didn't seem convinced. That was when I heard a strange but oddly familiar sound from a corner of the room. Squeak, squeak! It was coming from where Kid was hiding. Oh God, Kid, you're pretending to be a mouse. Startled, the troop of goblins stopped and looked at each other. For a moment, none of them spoke. Eventually, the goblin captain rubbed his chin through his jowls and offered his thoughts. Mouses? I'm sure Chef was complaining about cats. Meow, meow. That voice again. Oh, God damn it, Kid. Come on. Again, silence. The goblins only looked at each other. Funny you should say that, Captain. Way I'd heard it, it wasn't mouses or cats. It was a hecarim. An awkward silence followed. In my mind's eye, I could see Kid racking her brains to work out what a hecarim was. I smell a rat. By which I mean a thief. Following the captain's lead, the guards reached for their weapons. And then, heck, red heckaran. No, Kid, a hecarim is not a Pokemon. Seriously, girl. Listen, it really is a hecarim, by heck. That proves it. The goblin guards grinned and nodded to each other. Cheeky little devil. Surprised me there. Let's get out of here, boys. The goblins filed out of the vault. I breathed a sigh of relief. Really? And then they came charging back in again with a mighty roar. Okay, thank God. They're not that stupid. There's no such thing as hecarims. What? You snaky little buggers, roared Kid, leaping out from behind the pile of gold coins. You're the one to talk, thief. Brandishing their weapons menacingly, the goblins moved slowly forward, forcing Kid into a corner. I quietly eased open the lid of the coffer and slipped out. Can't leave you anywhere, can I? I muttered to myself. I knew Kid could handle herself, but I didn't fancy her odds against a whole troop of heavily armed goblins. For a moment I wasn't sure what to do, but then I made up my mind. I had to save Kid. Right, I had to save Kid. There was no way I was going to abandon a friend in need. Even if it meant facing off against a group of 5 goblin guards, I'd find a way to come out on top. I hoped. I drew the knife from my belt and leapt into the middle of the room. Hey, snot for brainses, over here! The goblins all turned to look at me at the same time. 10 beady, cruel little eyes all staring daggers at me. Fool! In a hurry to die, are we? I gulped and wondered if making a run for it might have been a better plan of action after all. Humans are so stupid! The goblin captain chuckled and licked his teeth. Yep, this one's got a death wish, all right. Why else would he be so stupid as to come after Lord Lynx's treasure? That's a first, being called dumb... nope. That's Kid. Hey, it's a first, being called dumb by a bloody goblin, trying to act tough when you're crying to your mum later on. Judging by Kid's response, she wasn't feeling massively threatened. And you tell her it was Kid who kicked your teeth in. So you're Kid, are you? The sneaky little, slippery little thief we've heard so much about. The goblin narrowed his eyes. Lord Lynx will be thanking me from now until my retirement when I bring him your head on a silver platter. The goblin captain pulled his morning star from his waist and started swinging it. Oh yeah, we're fighting goblins. But I'm afraid that's going to have to wait until the next one.